Okay, students, so we're back here working with coordinate systems, and what I'd like to do is talk about kind of troubleshooting and where we can run into trouble. And so because ArcGIS does this on-the-fly projection thing, what it means that as long as the feature class we're working with has the correct coordinate system assigned to it, our program will take care of the rest. So not a big deal. But you'll run into trouble if either you've got a data set that has not had a coordinate system assigned to it, or someone has assigned an incorrect coordinate system to it. So let's take a look at what that looks like. And what I've got here, and you can go ahead and pull up your comparing coordinate systems project. And I'm just going to be looking in the State Plane North tab to help kind of emphasize a couple things to you. So if you go to your State Plane North map, what I want to show you is I'm going to add this layer. So it's in your database, the My Project database here. I'm going to add Washington Places. And it's going to look kind of messy. And basically what this is showing all the towns and even little unincorporated areas in Washington. Okay. So it just looks like a bunch of chicken pox on the map. We're not going to worry about symbolizing it too much. Let's take a look though. If we look over here in the catalog, we can see what coordinate system this was created in. So we're going to go to properties there. And it looks like spatial reference. These places are in Clark 1866, which is a geographic coordinate system. Kind of an ancient geographic coordinate system, but that's what the coordinate system these points are in, and they show up on the map just fine. So we can tell, okay, if they're showing up in the right place, that must be the right coordinate system. That was what it was assigned to them. Okay, we're not going to do anything to change it. I want to show you what happens if we pull on a layer that has no coordinate system. So this is supposed to look like the same layer, but it hasn't had a coordinate system assigned to it. So if I pull it onto the map, I get a warning. Let me turn off the Washington Places. Well, I should get a warning. Or right click, zoom to layer. Normally I would get a warning, so I'm kind of curious what we're seeing here. I'm going to pull on a base map really quick and just see what might be going on. All right, well, let's take a look at this and see if I made a mistake with my files here first. Zoom to the layer back here. There we go. Let's just right click and go to the properties and see if I accidentally gave it a coordinate system. No, okay, unknown coordinate system. All right, so usually you'll get an error that says no coordinate system has been assigned to this layer. Apparently sometimes it's just going to show up in the ocean somewhere. Like if I zoom way out, looks like we're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean here. But we know Washington State is not in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. So if you get the error that says, and in fact, I've got that in the notes here. If you get the error that says the following data sources added are missing spatial reference information, then you're going to have to define the coordinate system for it. Or same thing, actually, if it shows up in the wrong place, you know it either has the wrong coordinate system or no coordinate system. But here's what you're going to do. Well, you got to figure out what coordinate system the data were created in. And so whether it's looking into the defaults in your GPS or that sort of thing, that's what you're going to do. So you're going to ask the organization you received the data from if it was data that you downloaded, or you're going to look back at your GPS unit, that sort of thing, to try to figure out, okay, what coordinate system is it supposed to be in? If you don't know, then you kind of have to troubleshoot and just try some different coordinate systems. In the case of this data that we're working with, we know what coordinate system it's supposed to be in. This is the Washington Places. And when I look at the one that shows up in the right place, its coordinate system is a geographic coordinate system, Clark 1866. So this no coordinate system should be in that Clark 1866. So what are we going to do about it? The tool that we're going to use is the Define Projection tool. And let's jot that down and then we'll find it. Yeah, okay, so you'll be trying to figure out if you acquire spatial data, pull in an ArcMap, it shows up in the wrong location, it means that someone has assigned the data an incorrect coordinate system. And let's just make sure we type that down, and then we're going to talk about the tools we're going to use. SYSTEM. Okay. You can hear my dog working on his rawhide bone there to keep him from barking, but you can still hear him chewing, I think. All right, so is assigned at an incorrect coordinate system. This could occur with data collected in the field where somebody forgot what was I doing on my GPS, and then they imported it and they indicated the wrong coordinate system. So the tool that we're going to use is going to be called, and I'm just going to jot it up here, it's going to be called the Define Projection tool, okay? And so let's look for that. So if we go back into ArcMap here, that's going to be under Analysis. So the Analysis tab, and we can pull up our toolbox, which we haven't used yet. But here we go, Toolbox, and we're just going to search Define Projection. Okay, there we go. So it's the Define Projection tool. We're going to open it, and we're going to tell it what we want it to do. And whether our data has no coordinate system or an incorrect coordinate system, this is the tool we're going to use, the Define Projection tool, okay? So if it shows up in the wrong place, or you get an error that says no coordinate system has been assigned, this is what you're going to do. So you're going to go down to this one, and you're going to give it a coordinate system. In this case, it's going to be, you're going to have to choose it. So this is one place where it doesn't feel intuitive because you're like, well, I don't even know, where am I going to get it? We can go to the globe here and we can choose, that's what allows us to look for any coordinate system. So in this one, we know it's Clark 1866. We're going to go to Geographic Coordinate System. This is a world one, if I remember right. I got to find it. Here, how about we use search? CLARKE. Okay, looks like it's a world spheroid based. So remember that. You can search up there to search for the coordinate system if you're not sure what folder it's in. And this was Clark 1866. I'm going to hit OK here. And then I'm going to run the tool down here. And it might take a minute. But when we're done, if you'll notice on the map, move these guys out of the way, pin them, the middle of the Pacific Ocean is gone, and if we right-click, we zoom to the layer, those green dots are now sitting there on the towns. Okay, so that's something, right? You're going to run through, so let's practice again. Let's run through this one more time, pulling the next layer on from the catalog, and this is the coordinate system error one. Pull that onto the map, and we can turn off the other Washington places. So, well, it's not showing up in Washington. And let's right click and zoom to the layer. And we see again, we got something in the ocean, okay? Which means there's an error. Let's take a peek here at the coordinate system. We right click, go to properties. This is where students get confused, okay? So the coordinate system here for this layer, it looks like it's state plane north, and my map is in state plane north. And so students will think, all right, my map is in state plane north. This layer is in state plane north. It should show up, right? They're in the same coordinate system. But no, it doesn't matter if your map and your data are in the same coordinate system, okay? What matters is that your data are in the correct coordinate system, the coordinate system that they were created in or collected in. So this data on the Washington places was not created in state plane north, okay? It was not collected in state plane north. It was created in Clark 1866. So unless we define the coordinate system as Clark 1866, it's not going to show up in the correct place. Does that make sense? Even if it doesn't make sense, you should just remember it. If a data set and your map are in the same coordinate system, it does not mean that data set is going to show up correctly. What needs to happen is your data set needs to have the coordinate system defined that it was created in. And so let's do that, okay? So let's see here. Let's use our define projection tool. And I could go back to my geoprocessing tools, and I actually already have that on here. And if we could do a search again, but we're looking for define projection, and we're looking for the coordinate system error one, and we're going to give it Clark 1866 again. Remember, we would search for that over here, and we could search Clark, and we could find it there, okay? And then we're going to hit OK, and then run. And once we do that, it disappears from our map frame because it's not in the ocean anymore. If we right-click and zoom to layer, bam, there they are, little dots on the state of Washington, okay? So let's get back into our notes here in just a second. Okay, so so we saw that if we can correct the see if I can type it in here. Correct coordinate system errors using the define projection tool. Okay, so we got that. And maybe I'll just kind of tuck that in there. I should have made a line for it, but there we go. We'll just put it there. Okay, so that's the define projection tool is what you're going to use, and you'll get to that from your analysis tab in the above the ribbon. So where might we get an incorrect coordinate system assigned to a data set? Well, that could be if you collected it in the field, like I said, and somebody forgot what coordinate system they set the GPS at. It could be you got something from an agency and it was like there's an older type of file type I think we mentioned earlier called a shape file, and they actually have the coordinate system is defined within a projection file there, and so if you lose the projection file, you can lose the coordinate system for a data set if it's a shape file. So that sort of thing can happen. If you collected your data in Avenza, and sometimes we're doing some data collection in Avenza. I know with Forest Service does a lot of their data collection there, and I know you probably worked with it in GPS class if you had that class at SCC. And spatial data collected in Avenza is going to be in the Geographic Coordinate System NAD 1983, okay? Just so you know. And we worked with that a little bit in this activity, so you know where to find it. But you can always use the search to find the coordinate system option. So if you don't know and you can't figure it out, try to talk to the person who collected the data, or you can just sort of troubleshoot and try using the define projection tool. If it's something in the state of Washington, it's a great idea to try one of the state plane coordinate systems and see how it lines up with a base map. Try UTM Zone 11 North. That's going to be another of your common coordinate systems. If it's something that's in kind of a global data collection app, try one of the world coordinate systems that's common. If it's something from Google or Google Maps, I believe a lot of those are also in the WGS 1984 Web Mercator. So those are web maps, often in Web Mercator, WGS 1984, and we use that one too. So you kind of just keep trying on a few different coordinate systems until it shows up in the right place. But of course, that takes some time. So if you can, just ask somebody. Let's see. So what else did I warn you? Do not change the coordinate system of layer and expect the coordinate system. So here's something that, and I'm not sure why, but often, at least earlier on, and maybe because we didn't talk about it explicitly, but often students, if they have a problem with the coordinate system, they'll change the coordinate system. They'll use define projection to change the coordinate system of their data to the same coordinate system as their map. Okay, and then they expect the data to show up in the right place. But why won't it? And that's because ArcGIS needs to know the correct coordinate system that your feature class was created in, so that it can project the data on the fly. Okay, if you tell the program the wrong, coordinate system, it won't be able to do on the fly calculations correctly, or I'll say properly, but I think I'll also press an enter here so you can see it. Calculations properly. Okay, so the moral of the story is, in all cases, we need to make sure we are telling ArcGIS what the actual coordinate system is of a layer, and we can use the define projection tool to do that, to make those corrections. Okay. If you've got questions, as we kind of worked through this activity, if you've got questions, make sure that you come talk to me and we clear this up before you take the quiz, okay? Because we've got a coordinate systems quiz. It's probably going to take you about an hour and a half, and I want to make sure that you've got kind of your ducks in a row and you're understanding this. We can even practice a little bit together before you take the quiz, okay? Last thing. And so that's the end of our notes. If we go back to our map, you have a map right now that has a bunch of different tabs. It should have, I think we had 6 different coordinate systems up there. Okay, so as a little reminder, right now you should have a map up that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different map tabs. Okay, and I just pulled up an earlier version that just has 1. So you should have 7 different map tabs. I want you to create a layout. So you're going to go up to Insert, New Layout, and it's fine to do it either 11 by 17 or 8.5 by 11. You can choose. Okay, but for this activity, you're going to create a layout and you're going to use at least 4 of the map frames that you have up. Okay, so you'll insert 4 map frames there. Okay. And you can choose the coordinate systems that you want to highlight. I'm going to check on my dog here. Okay, so you're gonna choose the 4 map tabs that you want up here. So this is my GCS one, and then I might include my State Plane North, apparently. And I'm going to zoom in properly. So you guys have learned how to create a layout, but rather than 2, you're going to have 4, okay? And choose 4 of them so you can kind of see the comparison, and then insert your 8 essential elements into the map. Your sources for this map should be, let's see here. Let's see. I got this stuff from Washington Department of Natural Resources. So you can use Washington Department of Natural Resources as your source, and you'll have 4 frames and a title and your 8 essential elements. And the title could be something like Comparing Coordinate Systems. But this week you'll get to just kind of go through and create your own layout. Using 4 of the maps that you created with 4 of the different coordinate systems to kind of compare what Washington State looks like. All right, and that's all I've got for you today. I'm excited to kind of see what you come up with a little bit more leeway here on the layout.